Palworld's the new mega hit. Every streamer's playing it, everyone's talking about it on social media. But what is Palworld? Is it really Pokemon with firearms, or is it something else entirely? I've put quite a bit of time into Palworld, and I can say it's not really a Pokemon copycat, though at face value, that is exactly what it looks like. Palworld more is a survival-based building game akin to Ark Survival Evolved or Valheim or even Minecraft in games of that genre. Yes, there are these animals that are very similar to the look of Pokemon, but the reality of this game is you aren't really doing Poke battles like you would in a Pokemon game. You aren't going through towns and battling other trainers and having gym battles and challenging an Elite Four. This game doesn't follow the Pokemon formula, though it has animals who look like Pokemons. But I would also say this, that Pokemon and Nintendo, they don't own the identity of cutesy animals. You know, there's always been a thing where there's Digimon, Pokemon, you know, games like Dragon Quest. You know, there's games that have these, you know, cutesy, quirky looking animals, and there is kind of, no one owns the artistic inspiration of that identity, even though we associate it with Pokemon, and we're going to reference Pokemon a lot in this video, and anybody you see about Palworld is going to do the exact same thing. But again, understand that Nintendo doesn't own a license on the identity of cutesy animals who kind of look as we would identify it as Pokemon. In this game, you are basically enslaving these animals to work and defend your base. Every now and then you do some battles against NPCs who also have pals, and there are boss encounters with NPCs akin to, you know, a trainer battle, but not necessarily, you know, entirely the way that you'll think of it. But it's not common, at least for what I've got to with my playthrough of the game. I haven't come across, you know, that many NPC trainers, NPC, you know, whatever the term will be for this game, where you will go head to head with an NPC in you know, these PAL battles. And that's kind of what this game lacks, and we'll get into that later on. But for the most part, Palworld is an empty world, devoid of substance, devoid of depth. It plays more like a game created with Unreal Engine assets and placed into the world than it does like an actual built from the ground up video game. There is no lore to the world, no story, no meaning. Everything just is. Palworld also shows how low budget and low effort it is with its performance issues. I don't know what other gamers are experiencing, but for me myself, this game crashes a lot. It runs pretty badly. And these crashes aren't, you know, once every few hours. I'd have crashes just minutes after another crash. One night I had 4 crashes in 30 minutes. I turned the game off and went to go play something else that night because it's just like, I'm done. I don't want to like keep trying to progress in this game, then it just keeps crashing or freezing on me. And a lot of times when you do these crashes, you'll spawn in, you'll also notice that this game's character creator is basically a skin creator. You aren't actually making your own character, you know, because you'll spawn in after these crashes where when there's a bug, and you'll spawn in as a default character. And that default character will be T-pose. And so the same character he's seen on the cover, that is the actual character from Palworld, and you just make a skin, you know, that you'll put over that character. Speaking of this game's character creator, it's bare bones. It's the bare minimum for a character creator. You slap some stuff together. Not a lot of options, you know. It's piss poor. Like, being honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. You know, this isn't an anti-Palworld video or pro Palworld video. You know, I don't have any bias towards this game or developers. And as someone who often says in my videos, I care a lot about character creator because it's something I'm very interested in as someone who's artistic and, you know, want to basically role play a lot in games with that experience. So I look for video game character creators to be good, and this game isn't. It's cookie cutter, it's bare minimum. It's just one that's thrown in there to give you the option to, you know, feel like you're playing as someone who might look like you, even though the limits on what you can do is very, very bare. When it comes to this game's systems, I know people are going to ask about the systems, so I just want to like give a little bit of a rundown on, like, you know, some of the UI. And this game UI is, you know, pretty nice. I would say, like, if you think about the survival games of this style, I feel like the UIs are very, you know, kind of wonky and, you know, I wouldn't say intuitive to work with, but they're kind of rough. But I feel like this game actually has a pretty decent UI, very basic. You know, when it comes to like your character inventory, you have your weapons. You can have 4 weapons on you at a given time. Usually what I have is I have my primary weapon for combat, and then I'll have my my stuff for you know, base building. So you got my axe to cut wood, and my pickaxe, you know, to deal with what you call it, deal with like stone. Then you have your armor, and your shield and your armor, then a glider. You can actually use some of the pals for flight and for gliding as well. For example, this one, Gale Claw, he has an ability which I can like, it was not giving me the option to do it. He has an ability that's kind of like moved out right now where I can use him as a glider. Not flying, because you can fly on winged animals too, but there's like one that puts me in place as your glider outside of just the usual flying. So yes, this is kind of what the interface looks like. Your party system. Wish there was more, like as in the usual 6. It would nice to be able to have 6 pals instead of freaking 5. These are some of the ones that I'm running. These 2 are boss monsters. I think this wasn't. I have a boss version of this one that I haven't put on here yet, but generally I kind of been having like some of the bosses in my active party. And yeah, this is a game where at the highest levels of it, towards the end game, you do want to make sure you have a party that caters to what you're doing. So if you're going against a boss that is fire type, you might want to bring it more than one pal who is going to be dealing with water. For example, I just did a boss fight in this dungeon I'm in right now, and I use this, which is a boss monster that you find throughout the game. It's a water type, so I use it against a fire type boss. So you want this game does have that. So here's your technology, basically like blueprints for how you'll do your base building. So we're like at 19. Then you have your Pokédex, or your PAL decks in situation. If you catch 10 of one PAL, you get a bonus for that one. So I have 11 characters of the sheep, but if I did 10 for these other ones, I'll get bonuses for it. Then you have guilds. I haven't really started a guild yet. I don't even know if you can start a guild or how you would start a guild, but I imagine I do all with my friends. And then of course you have your options, which again, as I think I mentioned in the video, that in this game as it is right now, maybe they'll update it to change it, but whenever you make any changes to your settings, you have to restart your entire game. Not go to the main menu, you have to close out your game and restart it in order for your settings to take place. Even if it's something as simple as changing your brightness or changing your sensitivity, you got to leave out the game, restart the game in order for those settings to go to effect. Very tedious, very annoying, massive negative in my opinion, but from what I've heard from the developers, they're trying to make changes to the game and they're rushing it as fast as they can to do it. But when it comes to updates on consoles, you have to do a 2-week clearance. So if you're on PlayStation or Xbox, whenever a developer is going to want to update, that has to go through a clearance with Microsoft and with Sony to where they can get that out, which takes at least 2 weeks. So the developers that said they're working on an update for the game and it's ready to go and things like that, it just has to go through these checks with Xbox. Now, I know I'm being harsh, but this is a review. With my reviews, I speak from my experience for better or worse. Palworld isn't all bad. The pals are a draw, and that draws me in. More so because when its features and mechanics work, it is enjoyable. This is a fun game. The design of pals are cute. There's, the fighting is very simplistic, and the catching is nice. Though there is no lore, no story, no voice acting, etc., I do enjoy the trainer versus trainer encounters that do exist. Sure, there's not a lot of it, and I wish there was more, because again, this game it lacks content. It needs that content. But overall, the gameplay of the game is fun. It's goofy and clunky, but it's fun. And I think everyone who really enjoy games like Ark Survival will love this game, especially if you are a fan of Ark Survival and Pokemon at the same time, because that's going to combine 2 things that you're really into. But if I was asked to recommend this game to someone, I'd say if you're looking for a Pokemon game with this third-person design, then maybe try Temtem or just go play Pokemon. I wouldn't recommend this game to someone looking for a Pokemon game, like an actual Pokemon game. You aren't going to get that same experience with this game. If you are looking for a traditional Pokemon experience, then yeah, try Palworld. To add, I also want to say that this game, regardless of any of the issues that it has performance-wise, it is a good-looking game. Visually, texturally, it's a good-looking game. No, the grass isn't, as 3D as a Red Dead Redemption, but it does have a good visual aesthetic to it, where you want to like be in the world, you want to experience the world, and you want the world to be more alive, and you want to enjoy the pals. I like how you can see the moon literally going across the sky. A lot of times you play a video game, the sun is just in the air, and that's just that. The moon's just in the air, and that's just that. You don't see movement. This game, you see the moon move, and I enjoy like those small aesthetics that just adds to immersion. But no, Palworld isn't exactly Pokemon. It's Pokemon flavored with guns meets Ark Survival. Now, there's also some controversy around this game involving AI, and at this time of this video, there isn't proof or hard evidence that Palworld actually ran Pokemon characters through an AI generator, though it does look like it. But right now, there isn't the kind of evidence needed to definitively say that that's exactly what this game has done. As well, the CEO of the development studio said AI could be used to avoid copyright claims. So that comment himself from years ago, like 2021, I think, also kind of spurred this conversation of they use AI Pokemon generators to make these animals. There is no actual evidence that you can prove, when it comes to that. It's all just speculatory, and we can't just, say they definitively did that if we don't know that they actually have or haven't done that. And as well, a lot of places like Steam and Microsoft have a lot of strict policies in place to prevent, a game that's just made from like AI being put onto the platform. There's actual Steam rules about that. So if Steam is okay with this game on this platform, and Xbox is okay having it in Game Pass, it must have cleared a lot of checks and balances to be allowed on these platforms, and it's not just gonna be on there just because. Personally, I do think they made this game with AI as a big tool and used the generator with Pokemon characters, but that's just what I think. And if it's that case, this does set a dangerous precedent that making a video game with AI to this scale is profitable, and scammers are going to be rubbing their hands together, seeing the success of Palworld going, we can do the same thing. Gamers are just buying these up and don't care as long as the game isn't awful. If it's fun, gamers will ignore the AI. Now, I also don't think AI itself is bad. I think AI as a tool to assist developers is good, but AI that steals art or creates the entire game is bad. Specifics matter. What that means is success of Palworld, if it does come out to be true that the AI, about all the AI stuff, is just pretty much green light shady developers to use AI to make video games so they can make a quick buck. This only heals the day before and what's going on with the game Quinfall. We're in the age of seeing these, scam games be created, so people are going to be hesitant towards Palworld and be vocal if they don't like the game and point out, these AI potentials. But as I said, when the game is working, it's very chill, relaxing game to play with friends, especially when its gameplay mechanics work. But damn, does this game really need content? Because right now this game is lacking that content hard, and I feel like that content lacking is going to lead to this game going on a steep decline. Right now it's the craze. Right now everyone's playing it. Right now everyone's loving it and talking about it nonstop. It's taking over Twitch. It's taking over the Steam charts. It's what everyone's playing on Xbox right now. But when you don't have content, it's going to be a drop off. And I mentioned this in my video about the finals. That game lacks content. There's going to be a drop off, and there was a drop off of the finals. Palworld's going to be, it's inevitable to face the same thing where people are going to get to a point in the game where they're like, okay, I kind of wish I can do some gym battles. I kind of wish I can visit a town that's populated with people. I kind of wish I can do this or this or this or this, and it's just not there. It's just the same base building, go catch some pals, kill some syndicate raiders and things like that. Just you're doing the same thing at level 40 that you did at level 1, and that's going to make people just go, okay, I'm done, and go play something else. But anyways, as this is an early access game, a score is expected to change. Right now, I say Palworld is a 5 out of 10. With content that gives this game life and substance, I say the game is at best a 7 out of 10. There's just things about this game mechanically that just aren't for me that will keep it from going higher than a 7 if it had more content. But as it is right now, as an early access game, missing the content that it's missing, all the issues that it has, a 5 is to me my score. You might have a different score. That's you. Make your own video. As for what you should do, you as a consumer are allowed to make your own choices on buying this game or installing it with Game Pass. Ignore social media, make your own choice. If you think the AI controversy has merit, then do what you want to do, what you need to do. If it doesn't look like a game that you'll be into, then save your money and your time and go play something else. If you really want to play a Pokemon-like game on Xbox or PlayStation or PC, check out Temtem. Temtem follows Pokemon formula to the T. And also notice, Temtem didn't have the controversy that Palworld has. So again, if you want to play Pokemon game on consoles and PC, that's not, you know, Pokemon, but you want to follow that formula from, you know, how a Pokemon game starts and, you know, the interaction with other trainers and Pokemon centers, things like that, Temtem is the game for you. So with all that said, that's it for my review in progress, I say, of Palworld. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave any thoughts in the comment section below. Are you enjoying Palworld? What do you think about the AI controversy? I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all stay safe. Y'all be constant with the B-Boy News. Follow me on Twitch. The link below in the description box. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Y'all stay safe. I'm out of here. Deuces.